My name is Nathan Poel. I grew up in Orange City, Iowa, and then went to college in Grand Rapids at Calvin College. This summer, a friend of mine, Steve Eaton of Westmont College, are going down to Honduras, and we're going to be traveling from Honduras to the United States, talking to aid workers and to migrants along the way, as well as politicians and government officials, and trying to flesh out what's actually going on in terms of the vast migration we see from Latin America heading to northern countries, the U.S. Primarily, and then also how the church both has responded in these areas already, and how we as a church in the United States can respond to the issues that immigration brings up. We will be keeping up a blog at desertfootprints.blogspot.com. We're hoping to post something on there at least every week. And that will be our primary piece of communication. We're hoping to start up a dialogue, something that goes both ways, that we can post things, but then also hear from people in the U.S. if they have questions that we can ask while we're actually out there, while we're on the road talking to migrants, and get responses for people and post those as well. And this is very much going to be a learning thing, and we're hoping that people will come along with us, that they'll be able to read what we're writing and be able to respond, and that we can learn from other people's experiences or the questions that they raise, as they encounter either workers or migrants in another aspect, maybe in a school or something like that, and try and hash through how these issues need to be addressed. Steve and I met this past spring. We were both studying in Honduras under Kurt Verbeek, learning about international development, and one of the units that we covered was immigration. It's obviously got very large ties to Honduras as well, and the more we got involved with it, the more we realized how profound what was going on actually was. And the stories that we started hearing from people as we talked about, what was it like to migrate? What was it like in the U.S. while you were there? It was something, it was out of an adventure novel. It didn't sound like my life from Northwest Iowa, that's for sure. It wasn't easy at the beginning. When I first started looking into these issues, I struggled a lot about, is it really our place to be helping people who are breaking laws in America, or is it our place to be aiding people that may be causing good or bad things here? And once we really started talking to people, once we really saw what was going on, a lot of those questions just disappeared. They existed in theory, they existed when you're dealing in an abstraction, but when we saw it on the ground, when the rubber met the road, it was over, and it wasn't even a question of whether or not we should be helping people. I think where I started with trying to be involved with social justice issues, particularly immigration, was simply looking at the life of Jesus and realizing as Christians, therefore Christ followers, we're supposed to emulate what he did. And as you look at it, you start to realize that he was very particular about who he hung out with. A lot of times you get the impression that he wasn't. Like he was dealing with whomever, the riffraff or whatever, but I think he was very intentional that he wanted to deal with prostitutes, with tax collectors, with the people who are down and out in society and who did not have a voice or a say or a real position in their society. And I think the conclusion from that, as Christ followers, is very natural. That's where we need to go as well. That's who we need to love. That's who we need to show compassion for. And in those terms, it was really quite simple. It is really neat to see that many people from different origins and different perspectives are starting to address these issues in the CRC, and are coming at it in a way that they're open to listen, And I'm really excited to see where that's going. I hope more churches, more individuals, more regions of the country can start to address immigration in a positive way and in a way that gives voice to every side of the argument and bears in mind how we as Christians need to be involved in the world that we find ourselves. Yeah, so as Steve and I move out and start this investigation of our own, of this research, I really hope that you will all come with us, and that you will watch our blog, that you'll read what we have to say, and that you'll respond. And then also please pray. Please pray that we will stay safe on this journey. Please pray that we will be able to see God and where He's working in Latin America and Mexico. And please start to think about how you can engage migrants in your own communities and learn how you can be Christ to them.